welcome back to my channel. And as you can see, I've already checked out the KFC outlet near the place where I had to service my car. And it was there and I couldn't resist. I was anticipating going out of town, but the day is turning nasty, and so I'm thinking of maybe heading on back home. But there's a story that goes with KFC, and it goes back to the year that I met my now ex-husband, and it was abroad in that city where my old home abroad was. And so I remember his dad telling me, my son loves KFC. That will automatically fix any issues or any problems, or it'll get right to his heart. And I said, well, that's good to know because I love KFC. And so it so happened that this is an old story time. It's on my list. And it so happened that one day I went home to my old place abroad. I had been out walking, and I remembered mentioning to my friend, your 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 coworkers are wonderful, and I wish I could do something special for them. You know what I mean? Like maybe get them a lunch or something one of these days, and maybe get it from KFC because everybody seems to love it. And well, so when I went up to my place after that walk, it was full. Somebody had let them all in, and they were demolishing the condo. So I had to get them all out. That was a horrible story time, though. I didn't know what was going on. But, and so as I was sitting there filming those clips of my popcorn chicken, I kept thinking about that day abroad, walking into my beautiful, nice, cool, clean condo and finding all those men in there smoking and trying to cook. I don't know what they were trying to cook, but they were trying to cook on my cooktop without a pan. They demolished it. So anyway, that's that story. I don't know what I'm going to do, guys. I was supposed to film Tammy's old neighborhood, but the day is nasty. I think maybe I'll go home. Hi guys, so I came back home and I'm really lost as to what I should do because, you know, I very well could have stayed in and done the balcony, but seeing that it was a beautiful day when I woke up, I decided to, uh, take a long day out because I needed to get something done. And then I wanted to go back to Tammy's neighborhood, and which I love. And, I thought I would film more because there were many other places that I wanted to see also. So the bad, the nasty weather, which I don't think it's being called for a lot of rain, but I don't want to start the balcony and then have to stop in the middle of it because of rain. Although it's a good time to wash it, you're not allowed to dump water over the uh, balcony. So I need to make sure that it's a bright and warm day when I do that, but it doesn't look like I'm going to get my wish. So I may as well just stay in and do the balcony. And if the weather improves later, it's probably going to be too late to do anything. But I could always go back out. Yesterday, I left at 6 p.m. to go out of town. And I made it back in great time. I was only gone for 2 hours, guys. So, yeah, I'm gonna really need to, you know, get started on the balcony if I want to beat the rain because I think it's gonna start pouring. That's what it looks like out there, and so I don't know what to do. I hate days like this. Anyway, I'll film some more clips of me doing housework. What can I say? I have no choice because that's what I'm going to be stuck doing today. So I'm glad I didn't start the balcony. Well, just as I predicted, the day cleared right up, and at the magic hour of 6 p.m. So here I am. I do want to pick up one more plant because one of my zucchini plants just died. One of them out of three. So I'm going to go grab another. Hi guys. So I got my plants and I thought this would be such a beautiful time to take a drive out of the city. It's only about a 20-minute drive, and there's still lots of daylight and sunshine left. And so I'm thinking that I will again return to Tammy's neighborhood because I'm so interested in that area. Just because I've never seen Main Street and I want to go back and have another look around. And last night I was rushed to go to the Dollarama before it closed. But tonight I don't have anything else on the agenda. And so I'll take you guys with me. Guys, here I am parked in the same spot I stopped at last night when I came to see Fairy Lake Park. And before I forget, I have to explain, I spelt it wrong on the image that I flashed by you at the end of the video. It's not fairly. It should be fairy, and I'm not going to correct it. That's me. It was quite late in the morning quite early in the morning when I did that. So obviously I was suffering from lack of sleep. Anyway, I'm going to take a short walk because it dropped approximately 10 degrees. So it's now about 16 degrees, but it's not cold. It's actually very beautiful. And so, but I didn't bring my jacket. I have short sleeves. So I'll see how far down I walk. And, I just want to get a good feel of what Tammy's old neighborhood was really all about. it's really cold out there. 16 degrees. Now, what I gather from that little walk, I would have walked all the way up Main Street, guys, but I was cold. And so on another day, I'm definitely going to return just for pleasure. Um, but the feel that I got was, the people there were so gracious. Shopkeepers, restaurant owners, um, pedestrians. It's such a quaint, warm, and cheerful place. And what the atmosphere is very much, and I don't want to say it so much as to stereotype anything, but to me, it's more like a gay community, and but it's beautiful. I would love to live there. I would love to be part of that community. Although, as for the gay part, that wouldn't be me. But that wouldn't bother me. That would not bother me in the least. It was just such a nice feeling, and I really do want to go back there on a warm summer day. And I was so amazed that there was street parking. Of course, I don't think there will be any spaces available, but it's just a short walk from the public parking. So that doesn't bother me. I didn't see too many boutiques, just one, but I didn't finish my walk all the way through Main Street, and I want to do that. I want to look around. And so that's my take on Main Street New Market. Um, Anyway, what I'm going to do is just trace the route to that house party. And might as well, because I'm going there anyway. It's very close by where I'm going to be picking up my planters. So let me show you the route. And it's about a half-hour straight highway. So it's far. Anyway, you've seen downtown Newmarket, you've seen Ferry Park. Now let's see if we can find out where that house party was. So, everybody, I'm at Millard Street, and I have to say this again, I drive by it practically every week, and it's an amazing street and an amazing neighborhood. It wasn't, it wasn't Tammy's neighborhood. Ferry Lake neighborhood, that was Main Street, and that was her neighborhood. And so I'm not sure if that was her last stop. I don't know if she got back to Newmarket, but this is where the party was in this neighborhood. And I'm going to get out and give you a little look around. It's a beautiful area, and I have to admit I've never come on this street, but I drive right by it all the time because I shop around this area. So I like to shop here because there's more variety. The stores are huge, and there's less traffic. It's just luxury all the way. So it was more luxury walking around this beautiful neighborhood. And hang on, and I'll give you a look. It's so amazing and beautiful here. Well, I'm feeling quite refreshed, and I'm also relieved that we've managed to find both locations that are pivotal to the story of Tammy and her disappearance. And so now I don't know if I'm going to upload this in the same vlog. Hi, everybody. So, yeah, I took you through a couple of neighborhoods today, and the second township that I showed you would be where Tammy actually grew up, and so that township is just as friendly and warm. However, there's I don't think it would be as accepting of people who might be, have individual differences that stand out. Um, I'm not sure, but my own experience there has been basically pretty positive. I shop there a lot, and I since it's not as warm a neighborhood as Newmarket, Ontario. So that was my only observation, and I'm sure that Tammy and her family were very happy in Newmarket because I would see it as a definite improvement from the Aurora neighborhood because that's just the way it struck me. And so I also wanted to talk about something before we got into the next little bit of our part two. And I never talk about this because it's just. And so, as I was saying, I took you through that neighborhood. And so, what I wanted to say was, I never really before we get into discussing the next little bit of part two of this case, I wanted to try to explain to you something that I've been sensing in some of these cases, and not all of them, of course, but some of them. And so I never really blurt it out because it's more of a subjective idea. And I wanted to let you know that I think in some of these cases, gender might have been involved to a certain level or not. Maybe not necessarily involved in the disappearance, but in the disappearances, but definitely I sense that it might have been part of the personality of the victims. For instance, maybe they were teased or bullied or accused of being different. I'm not sure. It goes on so much these days, and it's really got nothing to do with why a person would be mistreated or abducted or murdered or any of that. It should have absolutely nothing to do with it. But so that would be one of my observations that I never talk about and I never mention because it's not nice to think about that. It's not nice to address it and acknowledge that people can be that cruel and that mean and that unaccepting and intolerant. You know what I'm saying? Good. And so, okay, now we're ready to get into part two of the Tammy Lamondine disappearance. And today we're going to talk about the investigation and the search. I'm not going to try to make it very, very long and drawn out. And I am absolutely floored by one detail in this case that is pertaining to the investigation and search. And yes, part of it is a criticism. It's weird because in one sense, you can almost criticize Jacqueline, the mother. But in another sense, I really, really do suspect that, like in the Zhang case, this parent was absolutely unfairly treated, and so was the victim, of course. So, anyway, so that night, before she went to the party, Lamondine put on blue denim overalls with blue and red striped straps and a yellow tank top and Birkenstock sandals that had 3 straps and flowers painted on the side. No, that sounds like such a cute getup. And I know that in those days, 1999, overalls were so popular. I remember because I had a pair, and they were just all the rage, and the Birkenstock sandals as well. So anyway, she often wore silver jewelry, and she might have been wearing a black string medallion necklace. And so I'm pretty sure that if she was going out to a party that night, that would be one of her staples. Because it's apparent that Jacqueline said it was not among her items that were left over, that were left behind, I should say. It's obvious that Tammy was wearing it when she disappeared. So, okay, where we left off was that the 3 friends hung out. That would be Paul, Tammy, and one other girl, I suspect. And so that girl stayed behind. This is what I understand from the article. And Paul and Tammy took off to Stouffville. And so now Stouffville is a good half hour or more away by straight highway. And I imagine that the way that I took you was the easiest way because it was very close to her neighborhood, the entrance to that particular highway, and it was a straight route all the way up. Very simple. And I would say it's one of the safest routes that I know because I shop there a lot. The stores are better up there. The stores are bigger and they have more merchandise. Well, that's not why Tammy was going. She was going to a house party. And so don't forget, this is 1999. And even though it's still remote up there in that area between Newmarket and Stouffville, it's still developed a lot between now and then, but it was much more remote back then. So that aside, Lamondine and Tammy and Paul got into the car and drove up to Stouffville and attended a house party on Millard Street. And this home, this beautiful house, I'm sure that it was as beautiful as the ones that I showed you in the clips. It belonged to his sister. And so, guys, I'm impressed. I really am impressed. And so I have all kinds of questions for Paul's sister, but they're not important. So after the party, Paul drove Tammy back to Fairy Lake Park in Newmarket, which was and still is a popular meeting place, especially for local youth. And now what I realize, guys, that up there, youth are very friendly. They're warm. They're not untrusting or mistrustful. They're not, cold. From what I gathered today, and that would be my first experience so far, and only experience. And I had a very positive feeling when I was walking down that little itty bitty piece of street because I was frozen. But indeed, I was welcomed and I was smiled at without me ever saying a word or, looking at anybody, anything, not saying anything. That is a very good track record for a small town like that. And I suspect that they thought I may have been a tourist because, I was filming. So anyway, it was a very, very popular meeting place for local youth. And I would say 2 a.m. Wow. But I'm sure back in that day, 1999, the night was young. There were still possibilities to have fun. I don't know Tammy's personality. I don't know her habits. I don't know anything else about her other than the fact that she was learning how to drive and she loved yoga, she loved marine biology and things like that. I didn't get a really good sense of who she was, except for the fact that I think that she was a spiritual person and drawn to people who were spiritual. And so, hold on while I get a drink. And so, he dropped her off at Fairy Lake Park around 2 a.m. on Saturday morning, May the 29th, 1999. And yes, guys, indeed, it was the last time anyone saw her alive. Now, right away, when I read that, I saw red flags. I don't know why. Not necessarily because I think maybe Paul was guilty of anything or did anything suspicious. No, it doesn't need to be that way. It doesn't mean anything. But if these two friends argued, um, or if she was not feeling well, or maybe if she drank a little much, because don't forget she had drinks at the bar before they headed to the party, I would imagine that he withheld that from the police. Why else wouldn't he drive her to her house unless she didn't know him very well and she didn't want him to see where she lived? I have no clue, but I see red flags. Something is telling me it's off. And so it's not normal that a girl wants to be dropped off in the middle of a park at 2 a.m. And I'm sure it wasn't, I'm sure there was some life around. I should go back up there at 2 a.m., but I'm scared just to see if there's any life around. You know what I'm saying? Of course, I could never replicate 1999. So, um, so that was actually the last place that she was allegedly seen or sighted alive. Now, I'm wondering though if that is actually the case, because if you remember the clips of the Millard Street Park, there's a lot of bush there. There's a little lake or a pond, whatever you want to call it. It's quite remote in there. And I was kind of nervous to go down further along the path, even though it was still daylight and there were people about everywhere. I was nervous. And so I'm just imagining it may be a different scenario other than what Paul told the police, just to bear that in mind. So, all right. Tammy doesn't show up at home. She doesn't come home in the morning. She doesn't come home in the afternoon. And York Regional Police carried out the initial stages of the search for Tammy Lamondine, who was at that time just barely 20 years old. And so she was a child, guys. In my opinion, in my perspective, and compared to me, she was a child. So divers searched Fairy Lake and did not recover any remains or evidence connected to the case. Wow, that makes me wonder, what did they find? You know, I will have to research that. Anyway, in July, more than a month later, police confirmed that a behavioral psychologist was assisting in the investigation. So 6 weeks after Tammy vanished, her mother, Jacqueline, personally joined in the search on July the 8th. God knows what pushed her to that point. Was she just, in fact, like John McCormick's dad and not interested? No, I don't think so. I think police were flipping her off, like with the Zangs. Only I think with Cecilia Zhang, they did a good job. They were just trying to accuse the mother so that they wouldn't have to investigate or spend any more money. That would have been the primary reason for any police station to accuse somebody without any evidence whatsoever. And so, anyway, she joined the search team on July the 8th, and she hired a private investigator, Brian King, to help the search, and he helped with the search, and between the both of them, they set up a trust fund to help cover expenses. Wow, guys, the police wouldn't do it? I'm not sure what was going on there, but I know that she had a hard time. Jacqueline had a very hard time getting her voice heard getting her daughter justice. And so friends of the family and other members of the family participated in searches that focused on a great many rural roads, such as the ones I've been showing you, and local residents, such as farmers in and around Newmarket and Uxbridge. Now I have a cousin who lives there in Uxbridge. That's another pretty remote area. They were all asked to thoroughly search properties for possible evidence of her presence there, maybe clothing or whatever. So Jacqueline told the media uh, in August 1999 that Tammy has to be somewhere. She didn't just vanish. She has to have left a trace or a trail somewhere. And so we scan ditches, we check, double check, check again in early July because, guys, bodies are moved back and forth. So that's what happens when criminals want to cover up a crime. They move bodies. And so at the Millard Street house where the party was, the police established it as a crime scene because it was the last place that Tammy was. Don't forget, there were other people at the party who saw her. So there was more validity in their testimony than in polls. But of course, we don't know what happened. For all we know, Paul told the exact truth. And we're going to be getting to that. They declared it a crime scene. Boy, I would love to know which house that was. But of course, that's not a valid concern for me. It doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is nothing was ever tied to the disappearance of Tammy with those persons who attended the party or the homeowner, whatever. And so actually, they had so many police officers, 25 officers on foot, and police cruisers, mountain bikes, helicopters that were all used to survey the Stouffville area for evidence in early August. But why in early August? What is up with police? Why did they not deem this important enough to check out when she vanished? They say themselves the first few hours are the most critical, and after that. So why? I don't understand this. And so what happened was they followed up. The police received 2 leads about burial sites where Tammy's body was allegedly hidden. Either it was moved or what, I don't know. But one of the sites was simply nothing. And the other was a deer, the corpse of a deer. And I wish we didn't have to go through that. But so there was no DNA, guys. The thing is, in 1999, they were not as technologically advanced as they are now. So I'm wondering if they have gone back. Obviously, they must have tried to go back and look for DNA in those, in those places. I mean, just like Jacqueline said, they checked and checked again, but maybe using, insufficiently advanced technology. Once it rains and all that DNA gets swept away, I don't understand why they waited. I don't understand. So July the 8th was the first search. And on August the 9th, they focused on Stouffville and Uxbridge. And so, guys, that's pretty serious. They must have been thinking about other cases that were going on, and maybe I would imagine that they could be linked. And so, anyway, um, the police claim that search efforts were hurt by a heavy workload. Oh, well, what do we taxpayers pay you to do if you don't want to search for dead bodies? Wow, they want to cuss you, don't they? Anyway, so the homicide unit was currently investigating two murders in nearby Markham. So big deal. Get on with it. And there was another woman murdered nearby on February 11th, and a 16-year-old girl murdered on the 27th of June. So that's close. It could be that they were linked. And so, in a statement in August 1999, York Regional Police told media that investigators would start taking detours on rural roads to continue for Tammy while off duty. Well, Jesus. Why? You can't be bothered doing it while you're on duty? I don't understand that, guys. That's pathetic. In other words, they wanted to console the public and say, okay, we're washing our hands of this because we couldn't find her. But don't worry, we're there. Even if it doesn't look like us, we're there. I don't believe that. I don't believe that, and I don't admire those kind of police tactics. I don't. I really don't. I don't know what this world is coming to. Anyway, guys, I think that I am going to leave it at that for tonight because I have editing to do. And my little hacker friend likes to wait until after I post my video to start harassing me online again. So I'm going to get a little bit of an early start tonight. And maybe try to throw him off the track, throw him, distract him and fool him and try to make him think that I haven't started working yet. But anyway, guys, I will be back with you tomorrow with the next part. And I hope that you are enjoying this content. I'm trying to be as thorough as I can, and I am presently trying to find some more articles online that might tell us a little more about Jacqueline, because I really feel for this person. And of course, obviously, her older brother Darren as well. I really feel for Jacqueline because I can just see it now that when they found out Tammy was a First Nations girl, bye! I don't know if they tried to accuse Jacqueline of anything, but, bear in mind what I said about gender and differences. It may be that this girl had issues that we're not aware of. I imagine she seemed happy enough. I think she had so much going for her. So if there was something wrong, it would have to be something else that we're not aware of. You know where I'm going with this? So, I really hope that I come across something else while I'm researching. But anyway, tomorrow I'm staying in to wash my balcony. So, yes, you're going to get to watch that. Okay, everybody, thank you so much for watching. And please don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye for now.